Here is the blueprint for tutorial number 1. We will be using this blueprint as a reference throughout the full tutorial. Hello everyone and welcome to the Mastercam X9 MillEssentials training tutorial number 1. As you saw in the previous blueprint, that is the blueprint that we will be basing our drawing off of for this training tutorial. As you can also see, I've gone ahead and established my grid, and I've changed my wireframe color from a lime green to this dark blue color here under my grid settings. I was able to do this because I went through step number 1, which was setting up the graphic user interface. I'm now going to continue on to step number 2. Step number 2 asks us to create a rectangle. So go to up to the top bar here and go create rectangle. Mastercam prompts us to select the position of the first corner, so I'm going to select the origin here and sketch in the upper right hand quadrant my rectangle. As you can see, my rectangle is a light blue color or a cyan color, as this allows me to change my geometry and manipulate my geometry's height and width. So I'm going to go ahead and do that in the top bar here. I'm going to change my width to 1.25 by 1.25. As you will see, when I hit enter on my keyboard, my geometry that I've sketched will change to these dimensions that I've just specified in the top ribbon bar. Now that my part is correct, you can see that I could still manipulate the geometry. There are two ways of accepting this to make it go back to my default wireframe, dark blue. I can go to Apply, or I can select OK. If I were to select the Apply button, I will still remain in the Create Rectangles function, and my geometry will be solidified. This is good if I wanted to stay in the Create Rectangles function and create more rectangles after I've created this one. The OK button will solidify my geometry and exit out of the Create Rectangles function. So since I don't want to create any more rectangles, I'm going to go ahead and select the OK button. As you can see, it is no longer light blue and my geometry is locked in at a height and width of 1.25. I'm going to go ahead and create a chamfer, which is in step number 2, or step number 3. Go to Create, Chamfer, Entities. Along the top ribbon bar, you can see the distance of my chamfer of 0.25 and also the style of my chamfer. I don't need to change any of this as it defaults to being correct. Mastercam then prompts me to select the line or arc. I'm going to select the top line here and hover over the right side here. As you can see, it creates that diagonal white line as kind of a preview as to what will be created if I were to select this line. Contrast to that, if I hover over this line, you can see that it will create a diagonal chamfer on the left hand side here. If I were to select the bottom line, these two lines don't connect, so it's impossible for me to make a chamfer. With all that being said, and in order to follow the blueprint that I initially showed you at the start, I'm going to select the right hand line. I can still manipulate this line as it is that light blue or cyan color. Since I don't want to change the distance, I'm going to go ahead and select OK. Step number 4 asks us to create a circle center point close to the chamfer. If I were to do this, I'm going to have to go to Create, Arc, Circle Center Point, and adjust my diameter to 0.25 and hit enter on my keyboard. Hitting enter on my keyboard will lock in this value, and you can also see that my radius automatically updates to be half of the diameter value that I put in. Now, Mastercam wants us again to select the center point, or where to put this circle. It's almost impossible to freehand and select this in the right location, so we're going to have to use a command called fastPoint. The fastPoint command can be found up beside the Z depth right here. It is a plus with a lightning bolt beside it. Select this and you'll notice that this panel turns to white and I'm able to write in values. I'm going to write in 1, comma 1, comma 0. The first one is our x-axis. We are telling this one to move along the x-axis 1 inch, separated with a comma to give it our y value, which is move up along the y 1 inch, and a comma to move along the z 0. So we're not moving anything and it is remaining on z0 by putting in 0. Now if I were to select enter on my keyboard, it will position this exactly 1 inch along my x, 1 inch along my y, and 0 along my z. And my circle is created in the corner here. Since I am done with this command, I'm going to hit the OK button. I will then need to go to Create, Arc Polar. I will need to give my radius a value of 1 and hit enter. Again, this will update my diameter as 1 is exactly half of 2 being the diameter. I'm going to scroll over to the starting angle of where I wanted to create this. The arc polar is good at creating half circles, quarter circles, any portion of a circle except for the whole circle itself. So we need to tell it where to start. So we're going to start at 0 degrees. You'll have to hit enter on your keyboard to lock in that value, even though it is the default value. And you'll have to come over to the end angle and change this to 90 degrees and hit enter. Selecting the origin will locate the proper position, approximately a diameter of 2 inches away from my origin. And I will hit the apply button because I want to create another arc polar. This arc polar I'm going to give a value of 0.75 and hit enter. And again, my start angle will be 0, so I'm going to select it and hit enter, and my end value is going to be 90 degrees again and hit enter. I will then select my origin and hit the OK button to create my geometry. The next step calls for us to delete these lines here in order for us to mirror this part around all the quadrants to create a 360 degrees of this part. So simply select the 2 lines that you would like to delete and hit delete on your keyboard, or go up to this pencil key here and delete entities. From there, I will need to highlight the entire part in order to mirror this quadrant. In doing so, I will hold down my left click here, drag it to the bottom right, and click again to highlight the whole part, ensuring that the part is in the window. I will then go to X-Form, Mirror, and I will go ahead and mirror along my X-axis and hit OK. I will then grab my full geometry again and click to highlight it all, and then I will simply go up to X-Form, Mirror, but this time instead of mirroring along my X, I will now mirror this part along my Y. And I will hit OK. You can see that this isn't my original geometry or wireframe color of dark blue. It is a magenta and a red color. This color will appear every single time you use any X-Form options. Whether it's Translate, Translate 3D, Scale, anything on the X-Form menu will cause it to create these 2 separate colors. In order to get rid of them, you will go up to the top bar here and select Clear Colors. Clearing the colors will allow you to snap back to your original geometry color. From here, you'll notice that my lines are broken from the mirror command. I need to join these in order to do proper chaining for my cam and applying toolpaths to this. Simply grab the full part again by selecting the upper left hand corner, dragging it down to the lower right hand, and hitting the left key to highlight your whole part. From here, you will go to Edit, and you will go Join Entities. You'll notice now that when you scroll over the lines, they should be full lines. That will conclude the CAD portion as soon as we go File, Save As, and then you will save it as training tutorial number 1 and hit the save button. Mine already exists, I'm going to replace it. That sums up tutorial number 1 CAD function. Thank you.